I miss the Eras tour, even though it hasn't been that long. My daughter is requesting Wicked songs and Katy Perry in the car instead of our usual Taylor Swift-a-thon. But I haven't forgotten the joys of the Swiftyverse. And today, I want to share a prompt you could use with any poem, short story, or novel that comes from Taylor's music. More specifically, her approach to bridges. Welcome to the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers looking for more. More creativity, more engagement, more joy. And no more scripted curriculum, lesson planning ruts, or boring book lists. I'm Betsy Potash, and I'm honored you're trusting me to help. You're not alone on this creative journey anymore. So I want to start by talking about a video I found in the New York Times Diary of a Song series. This is a really interesting series where journalists from the Times go in and talk to singer-songwriters about what went into the making of a specific piece. And in this particular video, Taylor Swift is talking about her hit song Lover and how it came to her and how she produced it. And there are also snippets of interviews with her sound engineer and her producer. And it's just a really well-made, interesting video. And there's a particularly relevant bit at minute 6. Seconds are 52. I never know exactly how to read a timestamp. 6:52. And you can go and watch this video through the show notes if you want. But here's what Swift says about bridges at this point when she's talking about her song. She says, I love trying to take the song to a higher level with the bridge. And you know, her bridges are kind of famous for that, right? They're so unique, they're so different, they transition a song to a new place. And then her producer comes on and also talks a little bit about bridges. And there's this kind of neat animation in the video helping you imagine what he's talking about. He talks about like, you're out, you're seeing this beautiful scenery all around you as you drive along, maybe through the mountains. And then you go into a tunnel and you notice the absence of all that beauty. And then you spit out the other side of the tunnel and you see it again. And he says, you need that third element to take you away from where you've been, so you're excited to get it back. And that's her producer, Jack Antonoff. So there's these kind of two different complementary but also slightly different takes on the idea of a bridge in a song. Antonoff's that like you're in something you love and then you feel the absence of it and then you come back to it and it's this relief. And then Taylor Swift's idea that you're in one place and then the bridge takes you on this journey and you get to another place. And I think they're both really interesting. They can intertwine like they do in Lover, or you can separate them and talk about them as different concepts. So what does all this have to do with class? You might be wondering. This is the fun part. Now I want to apply this idea of a bridge to whatever text you're studying in class. Let's say it's a poem. Here you could have a prompt like, is there a word in a line that feels like a bridge? Is there a line that feels like a bridge in a stanza? Is there a stanza that feels like a bridge in the entire poem? Or maybe you're studying a short story. Is there a paragraph that feels like a bridge? Is there a moment? Is there a character who acts as a bridge, waking up another character to some new part of their story? Is there an event that galvanizes the action and bridges it into a new place? Or maybe you're studying a novel. At what point does the novel go from before to after? Is that the bridge? What point sees things go from setup to unpacking something real? Is the climax the bridge? Is it a single conversation between two characters? Is it some epiphany that a character has, like a one-line realization? Is that the bridge? For me, this mixing of mediums, this application of a musical concept to literature provides endless possibilities for prompts, discussion prompts, writing prompts, group project prompts. And you know, whenever there's a chance to use a pop culture hook to get kids to go deeper with ELA, I'm in. So last, I want to talk you through how I took this concept of a bridge and applied it to a short story unit I was working on. So You may have heard me talk before about Ken Liu's short story, The Paper Menagerie. I love, love, love this short story. The only thing that can compete with it in my mind are some of Hemingway's short stories, but I think I probably like this one best of all. It's a wonderful story. It's so emotional. I cry every time I read it. It's so powerful. It's a great compliment to an American Dream unit, in my opinion, or you could add it in with any short story unit. But when I was working on my curriculum for the Paper Menagerie last summer, I had just listened to this Diary of a Song video. And so I was really thinking about this bridge concept. And I wanted to build in one day of activities around the bridges as I was designing the unit. So I created this activity where students would look at the story. You could do it alone, in a group, with a partner, and search out some bridge. Now, for me personally, I could talk about this with you for a while. I think there are a lot of moments in this story that could act as a bridge. I think that a certain character in this story you could call a bridge. The paper tiger that sort of connects the main character to his mom. You could call that character the bridge. There are a lot of different possibilities as students approach this question. So you ask them to search out a bridge, and I just kind of created a handout with these prompting questions and asked for students to write out their thoughts. And then they'd want to reflect on how that part of the story operates as a bridge. What makes it the bridge? And then, is it the only bridge? Or is it the most important bridge, but there are lots of other types of bridges? Just like a bunch of questions to get them thinking. And then I wanted to wrap it up by having them actually create the bridge that they saw and show how it moves the story from one place to another. Now, I don't have an exact picture of what this looked like. That's part of the fun. I want them to create some concept, some like physical construction of their bridge, either in a visual way, in an audio way, in a video way, with text, whatever they want. I want them to take about a half an hour and create a representation of the bridge and the power behind it. Okay, my friend, it's time for you to translate this bridge concept into something that you are doing if you want to. Remember, this all started with a Taylor Swift comment in a wonderful video, Diary of a Song from the New York Times, which I'm going to link in the show notes. You can go and watch it. If you go straight to minute 6, second 52, then you can watch the little like minute and a half section about bridges. And thinking about this concept from there, what are the moments in songs, in literature that take us from one place to another, or take us from one place and then take us back to that place with a different lens or like a different feel. And I think there are just so many ways you could apply this in your classroom. And I hope you're excited to just sort of riff from here. Thanks so much for joining me today to talk about this universal sort of prompt that you could apply in writing or conversation to practically anything you might be reading with your students. By the way, since we talked a little bit about Ken Liu's The Paper Menagerie today, I want to tell you that I think this summer's camp creative topic is going to be short stories. So be watching your email for your invitation to sign up for this free PD that I do every summer. Thousands of teachers have joined me for it the last 5 summers in a row. I think that's right. This is going to be our 6th camp, and I'm super excited to be your camp director and take you through a whole bunch of creative options for teaching short stories in your classroom. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.